I'm just kidding.
So Drew and I can relate. So we go into these sales centers and we're talking to all these old school people like me, who's been doing this for 20 and 25 years, and like, don't tell me how to run my sales center. This is how I was trained and I know what I'm doing. And we're like, no, if you change this and you read this and the charts say this, and they're like, I don't do Facebook. So we really had to get them to adapt and penetrate, because the technology is here today that wasn't there before when we were coming up. And it's not spreadsheets anymore. It's relationship databases. And what we do is we show people, like on your sales line, this salesperson you have may not be good with the gay couple because they've got avoidance tendencies for some reason. But it's their turn to take the customer. So the old school says, it's your turn, that's your customer. Handle it. Our software says, well, don't give it to Alan, give it to Jim. Jim slays it with them. They love him. And Alan will get the next one. Oh, and here comes the single woman. Don't give it to Bob because he's just a male chauvinist pig and he can't sell them anyway. But give them to Stephen, who's got a lot of respect for women and is a member of WIN, and they're selling it. And this is when we are learning how to do more with less, but we're doing it with more analytics. If you look at this, this is a quick snapshot of our software. It's web-based, so you can tell this to your developers, your directors, your sales people, and marketers, as they only have so much budget and they only have so many resources, and we've got to stretch it as far as we can and produce more with it. I'm the type of person, I'm running around with my iPad or my iPhone, and I'm running numbers all the time. Can't sit at the desk. You know those people, zip, zip, zip. This is for them. If you look there, this is a quick dashboard of last month, 3 sales centers, 4 sales centers. This is real. This is my sister's site. She has global connections, and she has a CTC, one of Abby's stores. And if she needs to see the numbers last month, when you change it, if you drop the date range down, Drew, everything we did when we built the software, a big problem with software is people avoid software. I don't want to use it, it's complicated, I don't want to have a learning curve. All you need here is your finger on an iPad or a mouse on your laptop. It's drop and click and drop and click. Change it to any date range that's checked last week. They drop it down from the date range last week, boom, they got the reports they need. Everything on this page, even though it doesn't make sense to you looking at it, the person who looks at these reports the same way you look at your reports every day, you know what's right and wrong and missing. It's relevant information to them. So I wanted to show you this first. Right here, okay, this screen, what it shows in the orange top row, I think I got, does this work? Yeah. What it does on the top row, it says summary row, if you can see that. Can you highlight with the mouse? Thanks, Drew. Yeah. It's showing they had 400 tours, 27 courtesy tours. They got 7,000 in pending sales. They did $500,000 in gross volume. 12% of them canceled, et cetera, these metrics. Cash percentage, average sale size, net volume, and VPG. If you don't know what VPG is, it's the metric in our sales industry that drives profit and loss and performance. Everything is performed by volume per guest. How many guests come in? For you, it'd be how many requests for inventory, how many people did I have to ask to find it, how effective am I at acquiring the inventory. It's the same type of analytics you can apply to inventory or sales or marketing or baseball. So if you look here in 2011, we're looking at the Concord Condo Travel Club store, where they took in 226 prospects to generate a net 66 sales, see in the middle, and generated $234,000 in volume, memberships for that month in that one store. The distributor did this. In 2012, after running applying analytics for a year, because this does not happen overnight, they reduced the customer count down to 164 because people say it's getting tough out there. We're saturating the market. We've been here longer, so you have to do better with the tours you have. They took in 80 less tours. What is that, 40, 60 less customers, but actually made 4 more sales, because they had 70 sales, on 60 less customers, and generated, how much more is that? 13,000, I can't say it. 13,000 extra dollars on 60 less customers. The average price of a customer for a travel club distributor or timeshare these days is somewhere between the $300 and $500 range if you're doing it on a tight budget. At $400 a tour to take in 60 less of them and do the same volume as the year before, you banked 24 extra $1,000 that you didn't spend. Multiply that times a year, when your distributors start keeping $300,000 more a year in their pocket, they stay in business longer, and they're still producing you more members, right? We had more sales on the lower expenditure. If you modify, Drew hit modify, and this is what we built, is a report builder. So it's so easy that I want to do it my way. I want to see the report the way I need to see it, and you want to see it the way you want to. And if I ask 12 of you in the same company, the difference between reporting and analytics is this. Reporting pushes the data to you. They go, here's your report. It's flat. And analytics is more where you get to pull the information you're looking for. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? That's really the big difference there. So when Drew comes over here, he goes, drop down, if you would, to the month. We did July. Let's look what they did in August. That's Drew. I know they did.
I switched that already. Okay.
August, right. Yeah. So all of these are attributes you can pick to build the report. Say, I want to see Chinese people who are left-handed and are Libras and have, yeah, there you go, Jim. Left-handed. And who do they, and it's not whether or not you'll buy. This is interesting. This is where it comes from. Everybody will buy if they're presented in the right environment and have the right rapport with the salesperson. And we've run these analytics on 4 million tours. 4 million tours. 20,000 industry people we're tracking in our database. We do performance analytics, profiling and matching the customers and the prospects and the liner and the closer, and cancellation and penders, and just from every aspect. It's awesome. Merlin, as you all know, Merlinware, as good and big and broad as our enterprise software is to run the whole resort system, still partnered with us to do their analytics, because it's complicated and we've mastered it. And they had decided better to incorporate it than rebuild it. And we have a partnership with them and a lot of other large companies out there. So if you're in need of analytics, that's another thing we can talk to about for your internal use. In 2011, 293 prospects underneath it in the left, 177 the following year, August. When it comes, how much is it? 120 difference. 120 less customers, nobody. That's $60,000, $70,000 less on the marketing bill. Same amount of members. How many members? 83 to 75? Yeah. I'm sorry, they generated 8 less memberships and saved $60,000 in marketing. That's good for the distributor. So on our slide deck, Drew,
sure.
If you would, pass the word on to the people in your sales and marketing departments. If you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, you know, we really bring them the opportunity to make the changes from within. Like it said in the trailer, there's inside there, if they do it right, there's usually a championship team. And as a director of a sales force, I've fired a lot of guys I probably shouldn't have, because sometimes they don't always get the right opportunity, or I didn't have the tools to direct it in the right way. Can you flip forward a couple? We're web-based. It's on your iPhone, on any mobile device. I want to go to like Johnny. You know the Johnny slide?
Yeah, you want to talk about this one?
No, we'll skip it, because we're short on time. I'd be happy, by the way, to like go through all this with any of you. If we came here so you can seek us out. That's why we're here. It looks like I'm really here to have a good time at the bar and grill, but I'm really here so you guys can pigeonhole us, because we don't get a lot of opportunities. You know, a couple of conferences a year. So to get face-to-face with you and break bread and do things is really good. That's part of why I invest in the C.A.R.E conference. So if you can see these numbers, I have 2 more slides and I'll wrap this up for you, unless you call me for a standing ovation.
Encore.
On the top, this is representing 6,000 prospects in one sales center on the summary. And if you go across to the end, you see the net VPG. Can anybody read that? 1254. That means for every prospect that crossed the threshold into the sales center to get their gift, that store is generating $1,254 in revenue. Got it? Right. That's the top. Okay, these are the salesmen that are taking these tours, and they all got about 600 or 700 as the first column, is how many they got. So we're going to use Johnny. Johnny F. has $1,140 VPG. He's $100 below average. He's had 509 prospects at $400 apiece. This company spent $200,000 on him. At some point in the line, Todd, the manager, goes, Johnny, look, this has been going on for 3 years now. You're still $100 below par. When I've got other people to give that customer to, I just have to let you go. And Johnny's like, he has every reason in the book he's going to try and tell me why it's not his fault. So we ran analytics on this, and we took Johnny and all the closers who've been sitting on his table. And interestingly enough, when I took this 509 tours down here, made that the summary, and looked at all the TOs and the closers, it's interesting that Dan, when he turns to Dan, he has a 1,523 number. He's actually $250 higher than average, but the guy who's been getting the most of his shots, 170 of his 509, is Mike, and Mike's at 1,093. So actually, Johnny's been carrying Mike, if you really think about it. So by moving him from Mike to Dan, which by the way is a $500 per tour difference, that's, 200, and that's, it's a lot of money. It pays for the whole store's tours over that period of time. That's $500 a tour on 270, it's $135,000. And I didn't have to go replace Johnny. I just reallocated my resource. I didn't have to go hire and train and invest in another guy. One more slide, if you hit the space bar. Perfect. So on this one, we take Mario. Mario turns to these 5 managers, and the store average is 2,800. Mario's at 1,900, but every single other closer in the room does better with Mario, except Dayline Dan. But sure enough, Dayline Dan gets most of his shots. In the sales center, sometimes it's not just whose turn it is, it's who are you sleeping with, who hired me. There's so many other political factors instead of going to pure science. And in the clip where it says, you're just going to try and change the way we've been doing it for 50 years, our answer is yes. And we've been succeeding. We've got press releases, hit our blog, TrackResults.com, read our news, things of interesting things people are trying and experimenting with. And the technology's there, and it's just rocks. And if you can send us some business and we can help your people make some more money, I think that's stability for all of us, right? We all win on that one. Any questions, fire them at me or track down me and Drew. I'll be at the table. You know where Drew will be.
At the table, too.
And thanks for letting us share some time with you guys at C.A.R.E.